coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently would be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Attend the church here can tell you.
Service in Holy Rosa is evening.
We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Kesu. It is a transit to another story. As always, stories do not come easy, but the desire to get them is ever so insistent. It is a fair and quenchable. On this day, the transit is one of the most amazing cultural environments in Nigeria. We'll go through this experience. This is a gateway to Sukur Kingdom in Madagali local government area of Adamawa State. As we make our way, we discover most of the bridges on the road were collapsed. They present unique challenge to motorists, people like us, and this. We were stopped on our tracks hours on end, while efforts were on to remove this blockade. We line up in wait and even relishing the scenery around us. It was late when we achieved freedom. However, the promise of getting to our destination was alive with us. Our journey was the precursor to an amazing tale of a wonderful civilization, rich and beautiful, different in all its facets. These dance steps are coming from close to heaven. It is the signature tune of Shukuru people. The daybreak brings in pictures of school children coming downhill and making it to school in the lower ground. But for the students' rushing footsteps, the environment was quiet. We begin our climb with great expectations. We have compliments of two guides. They were quick to point out that Sukur is a protected area. No hunting is allowed, no bush burning, no cutting of trees, and no dumping of refuse. I fancy these universal rules guide all World Heritage sites. Before we make a distance of our climb, let us establish some bullet facts. Now, see where I'm walking. These stone paveways, as they move. These stone paveways have been there for over 1,000 years. They have been constructed by the people of Sukur for that long period of time. And they do not terminate midway. They lead up to the king's palace. You can look at the technology, the inventiveness of those people, of the Sukur people from that period, and you can see what the period deserved to be given a World Heritage Site. But then, of course, I have my guys close to me. Okay, come. Thank you very much. We are talking of these stone paved ways. You see, they lead from here up to the King's Palace. So they are covered a distance of almost how many kilometers?
It over a total of 3,045 feet above sea level, which is equivalent to 1,015 meters.
And you mean from this place up to the King's Palace where we are going?
Yes, exactly. It started from the bottom of the hill, that is from this place to the King's Palace.
So it helped them to move up with ease?
Yes, exactly. It helped it to move down with the ease. Very simple as this.
But it's like because of the slopey area of the area, maybe we feel that when it is rainy season, the place may be slippery and people may be falling.
No. This thing, as I have told you, this thing have been last for more than 500 years ago. So nothing that rain can affect this place or whatever. It's just like this. And it will not make people to be sleepy, to fall down or whatever. It's just like that.
And it's a technology that is still working. Nothing touches it. They have not been affected by weather, not been affected by time.
No.
Nothing affects it, and it's still working. It's still serving the people.
Exactly.
Well, you talk of a life-lasting technology, and you have it in this place. But as we move on, you can still see the pavement. So let's walk over. As we make headway in our climb to the King's Palace at the hilltop, one scene falls into place. The people of Sukur live with stone and have been exploiting it to their advantage. The stone pathway is a real example. There are more. Agriculture is the mainstay of Sukur people. The hilltop is so rich in farm resources, the people do not go to the lower ground to farm. All through our journey are pictures of cultivated farmlands or of harvest, vast and reassuring. In context of the rugged nature of their environment, the people have evolved a workable farming technology that for centuries have been working for them. It is called terrace farming. There is no need for reinforcement. The people of Sukur here live on hilltop. But then it's not only living for living's sake. All their agriculture, they do it on hilltop. They don't go to the lower ground to do their agriculture. In fact, where we are is a farmland. But it's not farmland, just merely a farmland. They have, over the years, for over 500 years, devised a method of farming that is very suitable to them, and that is helping them to cultivate on this rocky profile.
Highly practice this system of farming that is called terrace farming.
Okay.
By putting some rocks in heaps, as you are seeing.
Okay.
So as to control rate of erosion and protect and to procure manure.
Okay. So these are the rocks.
These are the heaps of rocks.
Okay.
You can see.
Okay. And all along that side.
See those ones.
Okay.
See those ones, and so it continues with all the farms of the Sukur people.
Okay. So you say the purpose is to control manure.
Erosion and manure.
Okay.
It restores manure.
Okay.
And controls erosion.
But amazingly, how fertile is a rock that you can farm at this rock and that you still can make it very good? Let's see.
One good thing about farming on the rock side
yes.
is fertilizer from a distance can be taken by means of erosion to those on the lower ground. That is why they need not to bother themselves about buying fertilizer or whatever.
We continue with our climb. At several relevant junctions, Musa stops us to reinforce the virtue of terrace farming.
As we proceed further now, you can see the usefulness of the terrace system.
Okay.
Because without the terrace system now, with this stiff slope area, how do you think water can be retained here?
Along the road, there is no way anyone will meet the terraces. They are pleasant additions to an already lovely landscape. Despite its education, however, the movement is in no way easy. It is a big trial on our stamina. Well, I must tell you, going to the top of the hill, going to the peak is a top call. We are full, but two have exhausted themselves. They could not continue. We have to continue anyway. And I'll take a shot. When, like the mobile police take their personnel to Goza to train, why don't they bring them to places like this place? I think this place will be ideal training ground for security personnel, because of the kind of energy that is required to do this routine. Being a child play is a top call. Anxiety is eating us up. We breathe hard, we take a rest, but our mind is fixed on getting to the King's Palace. Along the way, the landscape continues to give images of beauty, images of ecotourism, and images of life in its various environmental diversity. Sukur has several landmarks, symbolic landmarks that are part of the stories of this amazing land. In particular, nobody accesses Sukur except by foot. This way is the only way. Yes, at some points, space were cleared along rock passages to allow motorcycles, but it remains a risky endeavor. The foot road has 3 gates before getting to the King's Palace. This is one of them.
This gate built with dry stone architecture. As you see, no mold, no cement or whatever. It's just dry. And this gate has a purpose. The purpose of this gate is immediately if you reach this gate, as you enter, you will start see the settlement of Sukur. It's telling you now, you come to the welcome gate first. Second, it serves as defense purpose to Sukur people, because in some 200 years ago, 100 years ago, during Hamayaji's pride, when the people of Hamayaji come to fight with people of Sukur, the people of Sukur will come and stand here, so that as when they claim here, the people of Sukur will chase them down.
Okay. So the people of Sukur will come here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a defense, it's like a watchtower?
Yeah, like the watchtower.
The story is not finished. This first gate is also significant for sacrifices the community make, seeking blessings at harvest.
It serves as, there are some sacrifices they normally perform here in every year. That is around November time. If you look at the back.
We are November, don't you think? We are in November.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has been done now recently. Look at that skin. The skin of goat. They make that sacrifice for the harvest. After they finish this sacrifice, because before they start harvesting their crops, so that if they make the sacrifice according to them, the crop of that year will be bumper.
Will be prosperous.
Yes, that is to make the bumper harvest.
You talk of culture. What the Tiger is actually reinforcing is that when the sacrifice has finished, the collection of the bone will be put on the center of this place. And this little rock you see is actually a cover, because under what he said is that there is a big hole that has been created so that the bones can be put there, and that it is a fortification against anybody with evil. That if you come with evil, if you march here, the evil will go or will follow you. You talk of culture. Going out, our vision was capturing distant settlements. We are now within shouting distance of the King's Palace. Our progress was unimpeded. The ground is losing its height. It is more level now. But the short walk had stories tied to it. There is this tree, for instance. Our guide told us that the people of Sukur believe whoever touches it will become a hermaphrodite. He will benefit from both male and female sexual organs at the same time. The tree has been there for ages. Nobody was ready to stick out his hand and confirm. From this place, we begin our final climb to the King of Sukur Palace. It is a wonderful environment of tall trees and stone walls. We receive favorable reception at the palace. palace, it is difficult to note that you are some 3,045 feet above sea level. The environment doesn't show distance from the ground. Shukuru is a city-state comprising 23 settlements spread across the length of this land. They speak the same language, share the same values, evolve together and live together. On their eastern window, across the hills, are towns in Cameroon Republic who they have years of trade and marriage relationship with. We were lucky to find the king in council. All the traditional title holders are in the king's palace. Apparently, there was a discussion of a matter of state. Eventually, we learned it was a preparation towards one of the big festivals in the community. It holds every February. These entertainers are to spice up the meeting. The king's court is open. The king's stool is balanced under a tree, which is almost sacred. Despite the simplicity of this setting and environment, few communities in Nigeria can boast of a grand palace like this hilltop king. It speaks of the difference of Sukkur architecture, their sense of design, their mastery of the use of stone for building purposes, and the reverence with which the king is held. The official dwelling palace of the Hidi, as the king is known. It is an architectural masterpiece that can never fail to amaze any lover of art. Hidi's residence is laden with norms and traditions peculiar to the Sukkur spiritual belief system. It is multisectoral, with each sector having a story. The palace houses only the Hidi and members of his immediate household, and no one else. Its gate is enough advertisement for the interior of the palace. There is an announcement here, National Monument, the Hidi's Palace, Sukkur. This palace is protected as a national monument under the National Commission for Museum and Monument Decree number 77 of 1979. Well, when you talk of national monument, I think the picture here is enough as an evidence.
The living apartment of the Hidi.
Okay.
Yeah, look at this place.
Okay.
This place has significance.
Okay.
It is we are title holders as seated King's Palace.
Okay. Okay.
So into the King's living apartment.
Okay.
As we are starting from the point now, we pass one gate. There's another one here. There's another one here. We have several gates in this palace, about 27 different gates.
27?
Yeah, we passed 3 now. The first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, and we are approaching another one again.
We were given free license to tour this mighty palace of rock on the rock. Our guide was up and doing, giving perspectives on various sections of the house. You speak of architecture. Have you ever seen an architecture like this one? I have not. Everything has been designed in a rocky structure. And like I told you, you may fear that maybe weather, maybe rains, maybe strong wind can remove any of these stones. But this structure has been there for over 100 years, and nothing has ever happened to them. Right, that's right, Simon?
Yeah, it's correct.
What is the secret?
Well, actually, we don't know the secret. I can't say that I can explain the secret. Maybe after we finish everything here, if we went to the palace now, we'll ask the title holders to tell us the secret.
Yes. So obviously, if the Chinese can build a great Chinese wall, I think the people of Sukkur have this structure at the palace of their king. There is no part of this palace that has material outside Sukkur environment. The resilience of the building is time-tested. Some of the stories related to the building are, however, not. Now, the king's palace has 27 gates. And going into his official residence, that means the official where he sleeps, you have to pass this 27. Now, but it's not part of the 27 that is even a serious matter. It is passing the fifth gate. When you are passing the fifth gate, no commoner passes with a cap on his head. He has to remove it. If he does, there is a punishment for that. But the king, it is his main palace, it's his main residence, it's where he sleeps. So he can pass with a cap. And this is the fifth gate.
We briefly anchored at the vicinity of the rooms in the house. There are 7. The Hidi had 3 wives. Each has a room to herself. At the time of our visit, all the women were out in the farm. There are buildings here that house this food stuff. The king also keeps livestock. I find peace in the serenity of the environment. The architecture of the rooms is a delight. Out of the compound, I built a segment of the house, unique for the roles they play. There are rooms for slaves. There is a distillery. There is a special rock stool where the Hiji has his hair shaved. This exit, however, captures my mind.
I mounted to another gate, which is very, very significant for the Hidi. That means the king in the school area. You see this gate? The king passes it only once in his lifetime, when he is taverned. But then he will pass it again the time he dies. Only his corpse will pass. After that, although he is the king here, he will never pass through this gate. It is as serious as that.
The Higgins Palace is a world of story. The story will continue. But as a wrap-up, listen to my guide.
Anytime that we bring visitors here, they are asking, what types of equipment that security people use to erect these gates? Because if you move around, there are some big, big stones where human power cannot make this. But actually, according to the people of Sukur, they said it's people that erected this stone. And me, sometimes, there is a time that I asked one title holder, he said, if you have to look down here, there is a mark here, which means before, this stone is